We're live on there?
No.
We're live.
What an ugly face I have on there.
I think we're live. We're live?
There we go. Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, but we got some lag issues. So I don't really know what's going on here. We may have to not use the camera. But everybody's live on Instagram over here too. All right, how's that?
Can you
Hopefully
hear us
that
now?
helps, in which case the microphones
Yeah, there's a
are...
problem with the audio on both Facebook and YouTube. We can't hear you at all.
Hopefully you can hear us now. Right,
Can you hear us now?
That was several minutes of us just blabbering about with no
Yeah,
audio. Sorry
sure
about
was.
that. But what were we talking about?
We were talking about whether or not there is bodybuilding for women. There was, then they removed it, and now I guess they brought it back, Robert said.
Yeah. Now, there's multiple different federations within these sports. So there's natural federations, there's non-tested federations. The big federation that everybody sees, like televised and magazine covers, those are all predominantly pro IFBB competitors, which is the pro league of the NPC. So NPC is amateur, and the pro league is the IFBB. And I mean, if you're on a pro stage in the IFBB, especially in bodybuilding, you're definitely on some steroids. It's not not really a tested venue like it should be.
You would not be competitive. Yeah, I would say.
Natural bodybuilding federations do test, and there is some differences between the different federations with regards to what those different divisions offered are. But most of them offer, on the women's side, a bikini.
Do you want to explain what each one is like, though?
So you want to explain the women's side? I'll explain the guys' side.
Bikini is okay. So for natural bodybuilding or for like a more simple show, I would say bikini is the easiest division to become a part of. You don't have to have a lot of muscle. You do have to be lean, but you don't get as lean as the other categories. So bikini would be your base. That would be like number one. If you don't have a lot of muscle, or if you just have, more of a, I don't know, slim, more of a slim figure. Really, they're looking for you to be slim and have a butt. That is the two main things that they pay attention to, which is reason number one I did not do bikini.
You have a butt.
And bikini, you're expected to show off more attitude and more personality. And I really just wanted to go up there and show the muscle that I had built. So there is a few different things with bikini. However, when you get into the higher ranks of bikini, it is very competitive, and those women have so much muscle on them. They've worked very hard. When you see the professionals that they're doing their thing, they worked really, really hard. I say the lesser is of people who are just in the lower ranks, or the lower, maybe it's their first show, or maybe they're doing a natural bodybuilding competition. That would be phase number one. And then you have figure, which is the next step up. There's always bikini and figure in a competition. This one, you're looking for a little bit more shape. You want that real good, like hourglass figure. You want wide on the top, small at the waist.
The microphone doesn't work anymore.
Oh. I'm just here talking into a microphone. That's funny.
I'm just gonna let it roll with it.
Anyways, so that's what figure is. It's a little bit more muscle than the bikini. You want a lot more shape. They're looking for symmetry from top to bottom. They want you to look symmetrical, like you worked your whole body. And then from that is either fitness. Fitness is only in some federations. Only certain federations actually call for it. This one is where you're actually built your body. You have a lot of muscle, but you're also doing actual movements on the stage. So you're doing
like one-handed push-ups, flips, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So there's like a requirement.
There's like a battery save mode.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're gonna go off of there if you. Okay.
How do I change the battery mode?
I would just not. Don't. Yeah. There you
go.
Sorry, guys. So fitness is really cool, but again, you usually don't get into that until you're in certain federations or you're at a professional level. Super, super cool sport. Like if I were to do another competition, I would totally want to do fitness, just because it's so cool to watch these women. They're literally doing
they're doing like one-handed push-ups, flips, somersaults,
all at the same time, being at a deficit, just like everyone else. Being super freaking lean. They can compete in other federation or other categories. So they can be doing fitness, or they can be doing figure or physique, but they're doing just a ton of different things. It's super, super cool. And then you have physique, which is a much more built female. You also have different poses per every category. So I think physique is something super cool to work toward. I used to really want to be able to do physique, and maybe I will again. But I have noticed that the majority of people who compete in physique are a little bit older, because it takes that muscle maturity. It takes a little bit more time to build enough muscle, especially in a natural federation, maybe not so much in an untested. But physique is also really cool. And again, I guess I don't know a whole lot about the female bodybuilding side of things.
It's pretty much the same poses as bodybuilding.
In my opinion, I feel like the majority of the females that do bodybuilding have to be on some sort of enhancement, because you just have to get so much larger. Your delts have to be big. Your legs have to be really built. They don't have to be on something, but I would say physique is the highest I would want to go naturally.
Yeah, well,
so that's it.
There's some in the natural federations. There's some of the women's bodybuilding that are not nearly as big as like the IFBB women's bodybuilding, but they have like they do the same poses and they have the definition. They just don't have the size, which is
I've never seen them live. Like every
Yeah.
show that Robert's ever competed in, they haven't had a women's bodybuilding. They've only had women's physique, but that's probably because they took it out and then they just brought it back. So I have not seen that in person, them having that category. Do you want to talk about the men?
Yeah, on the guys' side, you got men's physique, which is the board shorts. So they're wearing the swim trunks basically.
It's equal to like a women's bikini.
Yeah, and they're a little bit more animated with their poses. They don't do like any of the like none of the mandatory poses are like actual bodybuilding poses. It's more so like just one hand on the hip. You got to like
Yeah,
do
it's the
all
same
that.
way with the women. You have to like.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's not fun to pretend unless you're that type of person, and then I could see it being really fun. But
Yeah, so you've got the men's physique where they wear the board shorts. The thing about that is that if you have legs, you can't show off your legs because you're wearing board shorts that go down to just above the knee usually. So like if you've got a killer set of quads and hamstrings, you're not really getting judged for that. So that's not cool. Then you've got men's classic physique, which is a newer category. They've only come up with that past few years. That's basically been this kind of return to the golden era-esque style of bodybuilding where they try and prioritize more shape and symmetry and definition and not so much just sheer size. For a while, the men's open bodybuilding was just getting so big, like it was just a mass monster contest, but they were losing a lot of shape and symmetry and just proportion. So the NBC brought out this classic physique division, which is not posing trunks, like not bodybuilding posing trunks, but not board shorts either. It's kind of like a little short, basically.
yeah, they're like boy shorts. Like if you're a female, like they're like the boy shorts.
So you can still show off your quads and your hamstrings, but you don't really get to show off your glutes because they have more coverage than that. And those are pretty much the same poses as the Bodybuilding Federation, except there's also an additional like classic pose, like favorite classic pose instead of the traditional most muscular pose. And then the men's bodybuilding is the traditional bodybuilding where you're wearing the posing trunks, you've got all the symmetry rounds, and then you've got the mandatory poses like the front lat spread, the front double bicep, back double bicep, most muscular, all of those, which you typically see the people like on the magazines in men's bodybuilding.
And then within all of those, there is different age groups. So like novice would be, every federation does it differently. Novice can be you've never competed in a show ever before.
That's true novice.
Or mine only had one option for novice. And my option was that I had never competed again. I've never competed before within that federation. So you're going on stage with generally a lot of brand new people who maybe it's their first or second show. And then there's open class who it's for men, it's all based off of weight. For women, it's based off of your height. So you're on stage with all the women that are the same height as you. For men, it's all the same men on the stage that are the same weight as you or in the same weight range. And then from there goes into like age rank. So, they start at 35 or 40?
They have 35.
35 and up, 40 plus, 50 plus, until they're capped out, until there's only a single person in those categories. So that's kind of fun too. If you are an older individual who wants to compete and maybe you want to do your open class, but maybe you also want to compete against people who are more your age as well to make it a little bit more fair, that's also a really fun thing too that I really enjoy about it. And those people are super impressive.
Let's jam on some of these questions here. So Mike said it looked good with you holding the mic. You can win fat in keto.
Can you win?
You can get fat in keto diet. Yeah,
yes.
You can get fat with any diet.
You can definitely get fat with any diet that you try.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, someone said no sound, then everyone else said sound is great.
It's weird.
Not true.
What's not true?
I'm not sure.
Not true, but we don't know what's not true. Any questions? A lot of people joined. Hey Robert. What's up?
Oh, that was it.
That was it. We need some questions, y'all. Bring on the questions. We just blabbered for 13, 14 minutes.
And again, we just ran through those really quickly. Like, if you guys are actually interested in looking at some of those categories, I would definitely look into it. I went back and forth from bikini to figure a lot until I actually talked to a few people and they looked at me posing. The poses are very different. It brings out different aspects of your body. So like Robert will do bodybuilding and classic bodybuilding. They're different poses. They bring out different parts of your body. For me, my shoulders and my back was too wide to do bikini. It just would not have looked as good for me. But bikini, I would say, I don't know, what do you think that they're, I don't know. I don't really know. I guess I would have to look at more of the professional level of bikini in order to really do a comparison of
Adam asked if I do bikini poses. I do not do bikini poses. Redmond Real Salt asks, how important is electrolytes in your training? Coming from Redmond Real Salt, pretty important. I eat a lot of electrolytes. I drink a lot of electrolytes, rather. Normally do a scoop of Relight in the morning, a scoop of Relight intra workout, and then a scoop of Relights afterwards.
Hey Robert, Liz Howard here. Still lean and mean from your coaching techniques.
Awesome. Music to my ears.
Adam says, Crystal, what do you need? Making chili this week to send you guys to try. I'm not upset with that idea.
Crystal's been on a chili kick here lately, so she will devour the chili.
It's also really chilly outside.
It is. We got some sun right now, though.
Do we?
So, yeah, the sun finally peaked out. It's been like just wet and dreary. That's my truck.
Oh. Huh.
But the cops pulled up. The cops are in our parking lot right now.
Oh, why?
I have no idea. Everybody bums our parking lot, cops included.
That's right.
All right, we need some questions, y'all.
We're in trouble.
We got any more questions? Just checking. Yep. We do a lot of Relight for sure. Why did y'all change y'all's formula though? Y'all went from 1,000 milligrams of sodium to like 840 or something like that.
And what? The Relight?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All the new formulas got 800 something.
Is the potassium and magnesium the same?
I'm pretty sure the ratio is still the same, but they dropped everything a little bit. But I don't know why. So I'm curious. Chicken chili, so you will be good.
Ooh, yeah.
That does sound pretty delicious.
It does sound good.
All right, y'all. What else is new? We didn't do our MMA today because Chip is not feeling too hot.
We've had a cold that has gone through the entire crew except for Dylan and Bryson.
Yeah. CrossFit women get seriously buff. Would they fit anywhere into competition?
I would say yes, but it's a totally different body type. So, and I'm just gonna say this like point blank, like this is my opinion when I do see them. Which again, I've also attempted to do CrossFit stuff as well. I've looked at a lot of different body types and tried to figure out what it is that I really want to do. CrossFit, they have really great delts, but they don't have as wide of lats to really fit into like physique or figure. I'm sorry, into figure. They're a little bit too square in the center, whereas in bodybuilding, they're looking for a little bit more tapered. Like they're looking for more of an hourglass figure. That is what bodybuilding is looking for. They're looking for something that's going to look really great to the eye, and it's going to be symmetrical. So they really are looking for an hourglass figure, big delts, big lats, small waist. They want a nice firm butt. They want to see that you're working your legs, nice calves, things like that. But with CrossFit, they're super fit people, but they're a little bit more square and not as built. What is the look?
Hourglass?
No, they're not as
V-taper?
No, the visual.
Visual?
You know, they're not as visually appealing. Aesthetic, yeah. It's not an aesthetic sport. It is a sport. Like you're there to do a job. You're not there to look pretty. So they are very different. But I'm sure you could, depending on your individual body, you could make it work or you can make it not work. But a lot of people who are like professional CrossFitters, like their bodies are just kind of set for CrossFit. But someone who just does CrossFit for enjoyment and maybe doesn't have that, more square shape already, I'm sure you can kind of go back and forth. Crystal, was your prep and recovery diet all ketogenic? Yes, it sure was. I feel like we are all rectangles. That's funny.
Hey, rectangles is good.
They love it. Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely not a bad thing. It's just a different sport. It's a different, just what you're going for is different. I feel like even, figure and bikini are different. You're just working on different things. It's, even though it's the same type of workouts, you're working more on some things and not on others. So.
Yeah. What else we got?
If tracking macros, do we target overall calories on a daily basis? First, then protein, then fat, then carbs? Do you support time-restricted eating, or do you eat when hungry regardless of the time frame?
It really depends on what's most sustainable for the individual as far as the time-restricted eating or not. I'm a fan of time-restricted eating. I like the intermittent fasting. As far as like what do you prioritize, calories or macros? They're all very important. Like the total calorie count is going to have a very, big impact on your overall composition. But the distribution of those calories is incredibly important as well. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting enough protein and ample dietary fat if you're doing a fat approach, fat adapted approach, ketogenic approach, and then the carbs that you can consume. I mean, there's not really a need to hit a certain carb intake if you're doing more of a keto approach. I just have to say, I love the podcast intro. Every time it pumps me up. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using that same intro for forever. Hattie just got out of the studio. Amazing jury review today. Such an amazing day. Well, awesome. Glad you're having an amazing day. Hey, Savage fam, or hey fam, airing live at Camp Lejeune. Big hello from your military savages. What's up? What's up? Hope y'all are all doing awesome.
CrossFit is actually harder for people who are tall with long limbs. I could see that.
Yeah.
You definitely see that.
All the clean and jerks and stuff.
Yeah.
Quick little housekeeping update, y'all. I'm going to be on a hunting trip next week and the week after. So rather than us doing the live at 5, I'm going to just publish an AMA video for the next 2 weeks. So I sincerely apologize for keeping y'all without our presence for the next 2 weeks, but it will all be worthwhile. Hopefully I'll get an elk and have some meat in the freezer, and then I'll be sure and have a good long Q&A with y'all when we get back.
They said, so overall calories comes first. So your macros will equal your calories. So there's 9 calories for every 1 gram of fat. There's 4 calories for every 1 gram of protein or carbs. So if you're hitting your protein and hitting your fat, you're going to naturally hit your calorie goal.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we can cook something tonight. We have anything for dinner tonight? We got no food tonight, y'all. We got no food tonight, for real?
No food.
Sheesh.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. What are your thoughts on eating intuitively versus tracking? I plan to eat something lean today, but suddenly got a craving for a steak. Stay on track or just eat the steak? So if you have a very specific goal that you're trying to reach and you have macros targeted towards reaching that goal, then hit your macros. If you are happy with your composition and you're healthy, then you can afford to eat much more intuitively.
We got one more question over here. Is it common for women to store belly fat as their main place of fat as opposed to their thighs? I would say it's about equal. It depends on your body type, really. I hold fat in my lower stomach, my thighs, and my butt. I also hold a lot of fat in my triceps. It's just, that's where I hold it. Both
men and women, though, are going to have some fat in their, stomach region as a protective mechanism for their organs. So, like you don't want a whole bunch of visceral fat, obviously, but we've kind of evolved to have, when we're going to be gaining weight, it's common to have some fat go there just by default. Yeah. And also a lot of belly fat with little legs is more of a sign of diabetes and just an unhealthy diet. So if it's pretty spread out, you're probably a little bit on the, more average side of things. But some people just naturally hold a lot of weight or a lot of fat, in their thighs, in their butt. Some people naturally hold it in their upper body.
Just depends on your personal body type, really.
Crystal, how's Dad doing? How's Dad doing on keto? Troops are just asking about him.
He's doing fantastic, losing weight and feeling good.
He's doing dandy.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Was that all the questions on Instagram?
Hope you're hunting
so much.
Yeah.
We have no food, making Kevin take me out.
Yeah, he said that he was going to take you guys out. That's good.
Keto bricks for dinner. There you go.
I guess so.
Can't ever go wrong there. All right, y'all. Take care. Toodaloo. Love you. We'll be in touch. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Adios.
See
Be
you
safe.
later.